Hey everyone, welcome to Bree Rice Runs, and for this special edition, I'm bringing on my best friends, Jessica and Macy. Now, we've been best friends forever. However, we all recently, within the last year or so, have gotten into running. So today, that's what we're talking all about. We're talking about our run history, what got us into running, what our goals are for the next year, and maybe even longer than that, and also Jessica's phenomenal PR in the half marathon. We hope you enjoy. Hey everybody, this is Bree Rice Runs, and today we have a special edition with my two best friends, lifelong best friends, I might add, Jessica and Macy. So I'm going to give you all a second to kind of introduce yourself and talk a little bit about who you are, kind of where you are in like this phase of life and everything like that. Jessica, you can go ahead and go first.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm Jessica. So I am 33. I had to think about that for a second. How old am I? 33. I am a mom to two little boys who are 5 and 3. So that's pretty much where all my time and thoughts and energy go, that are not devoted to running and fitness. Married, and this is my first year not teaching. So staying at home with the boys and getting ready to delve into homeschool life. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, Mace.
I'm Macy. I'm also 33.
Y'all are so old.
Yeah.
So old.
Honestly, similar situation. Used to be a public school teacher. Now I've been at home for 2 years with my kiddos. And I have a little boy who's 5 and a little girl who's 2. And so I get about 15,000 steps a day with no work.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, y'all are both at home right now, and that's something that I gave it a go a few years ago, and it just wasn't for me. So kudos for all of you out there that are thinking, oh, they get to stay at home. Try it for a little while. It's not for the faint of heart. I will say that.
Not easy.
Like I get a break at work for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we were kind of wanting to delve in today about getting to know you, not just like who you are, but also as a runner too, because we are going to try to meet monthly. And this is kind of a space where we're going to talk about running, but like also as moms too, because that adds a whole new layer onto training. And so right now, I just want to hear about how you or why you started running, kind of the past few months to years, what's been going on in your training and racing, things like that.
I started really consistently running, I would say, like where I'm at now, close to maybe 8 months ago, maybe closer to 6 to 8 months ago. Just consistently, like I've ran consistently for that time period. And before the past 6 to 8 months, I've had like chunks of my life where I've ran for a little while, a couple months, and then got burnt out and then stopped. But I would say for the last 6 to 8 months, I've consistently been running, 2 to 3 days per week.
And we've all done a half marathon together, but you and Jessica were not really running at the time. So we're not counting it.
That first one and half marathon, is that what I'm talking about?
Yeah. How many?
Yeah, I don't even count that.
No,
don't count that.
Up the cones behind us. Right.
Don't even count that.
As we were like walking. Yeah. That was a joke.
And my knees hurt so bad after that. Like I literally could not walk.
No, I think I'd have had rhabdo.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Terrible. I ran maybe a mile or two, and then
good times.
All right, Jessica, let's hear about your run journey over the last. It's probably been what, a year, 2 years now?
It's been about, let's see, what month is it? May. Coming up on a year and a half, I guess, of my most consistent running journey. Kind of like Macy, there have been times in my life where I have gone on stretches where I might go 2 or 3 months and run every single day, like 5, 6, 7 days a week. And then I usually just burn myself out. Um, one of the last times before kids, what got me out of the habit was having a child, but I did not have the base anywhere, not even close to what I have built up now. So I started picking it up again more consistently at the end of 2023, like started really small and then slowly kind of built up to where I am now, which is usually bare minimum, like 20 miles a week. Is kind of like where I seem to sit right now. So,
So why do you think you picked it up a year and a half ago? What made you start?
a couple of reasons. So, one of the biggest reasons was just I had a loss in my family, which you all know. And it was really hard emotionally and mentally for me. It was like just life changing. And I really struggled with it. And so running has kind of always been that easy thing for me to go to when like, and I usually put it off like it's the last thing I want to do. But when I really struggle with something, I start running because it helps me mentally. And then on top of that, and I had a health scare. There were just several things that compounded and compiled to kind of push me like, okay, I've got to do this. Like, it wasn't about losing weight. It was just about like mental health. And I got some blood work back that showed some elevated cholesterol levels, which I attributed mostly to stress, and then family history. And so all those things together is kind of what pushed me in that direction. And I incorporated other workouts too, but running has just kind of always been there. Like, it's easy. The more you get into it, the more you realize it's more complicated and less easy than you thought. But
Yeah.
initially it's easy. You just put on your shoes and you go, and there's no plan. You don't have to have a plan. You just run. So that's kind of what prompted that. And then it's just been one thing after another, and here I am.
Yeah. So you hear people say all the time, running is not therapy. What would you say to those people?
Running is not therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, for me, it's therapy. In so many ways, maybe it's being an athlete, like growing up as an athlete. There's just, even the races, like the competitiveness of it has given me something
Mm-hmm.
back that I have not had in years. Like, even if I'm not really competing with the winner, just competing with the people next to me, competing with myself and trying to improve my time, like listening to good music and like getting myself pumped up. I love that. But then just the physical, the sweat and like the accomplishment and the achieving something that's really difficult. Oh, I would argue that all day long, that running is definitely maybe not for everybody, but for me it is.
And I just feel like different things are different for therapeutic for different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making sourdough bread is very therapeutic. Just feeling the dough. A lot of people probably don't care about that.
Yeah.
But I do. I love it.
Yeah. And speaking of, Macy, that's the best bread you've ever made.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was so good.
Good.
Macy the bread maker.
Yes, that's for sure. All right, Macy, why do you think you started running?
I think a lot of it, honestly, is like, me and my mom got talking about this today because we were talking about how we were saying that there's nothing that I could go do with my kids that like she couldn't go do with us.
Mhm.
Like, there's no like amusement park or this or that or whatever. There's nothing that we could go do that we could be like, well, mom couldn't really do that. And so I feel like once you get like, and the older I get, I'm like 30's not old, but once you get a little bit older, I just feel like it's not competition for me, but just like thriving as you age. And because we just got to talking about how when you're with your grandkids, and I mean, some people are great grandkids, like there's nothing you want to not be able to do with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of it for me just being like always feeling like I can do what I want with my body, not feeling like I'm restricted. Just, my dad would tell you the same thing because he's going through some he has health issues now that probably could have been avoided if he would have taken the time in his 30s to care more about and do more steps towards
Yeah.
that. And I just feel like that's a big part of it for me, is always just like feeling vital,
Hmm.
Mhm.
because I don't really care about getting older, but I just want to be able, I don't want to be limited physically as I get older.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of it. Um,
Yeah, there's something about when you get into your 30s and
Yeah.
you realize like, oh shoot, I'm actually getting older and time actually is passing,
Yeah.
and I don't want to feel like I'm 60 when I'm 35, because some people do.
yes. Yeah.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that when my grandpa passed away, I think that was another thing that like prompted me. It was like, oh my goodness, time's passing and I'm getting older. And William, my husband, calls this my midlife crisis. I'm like, I don't think so, but whatever.
no.
Whatever.
Well, it's going to last forever, so it's not a midlife
Yeah.
crisis. Yeah, and that's something that I see all day, every day, in the line of work that I do. For those that don't know, I'm a physician assistant, mainly in women's health, but I do a little bit of primary care as well. But I just see so many unhealthy people, like all day long,
Yeah.
and and you do what you can to help the patient. And in modern medicine in America, it does feel like you're just kind of band-aiding things.
Hmm.
And I wish everybody could feel like we do
Yeah.
about, the proactive steps and healthy lifestyle choices in order to prevent disease rather than treat it later in life. Yeah, it's hard to watch, honestly.
And
Yep.
this girl one time, I forgot who it was. I think it was a podcast, but she was saying like when she had kids and she stopped, like they weren't the excuse like why she didn't run, but like the reason why she did run.
Hmm.
Now,
Mhm.
sense.
100%. Yeah. I mean, like tonight at our T-ball game, I had both kids' bags on my back. I had like three things in my water, my phone, their snacks, and we had a decent walk from one field to our car. And then I
Mhm.
had, my 35-pound 3-year-old that was needing to be carried because it was a long walk with his snow cone. And I was just able to squat down and like scoop him up with all that
Yeah.
stuff with no, and my literally went through my head, this is why I do the things that I do, because I want to be able to do this and not struggle and be like sweating,
Yeah.
this is the why. This is the why to being able to do this.
Yeah. And I feel like as you get older, you start realizing that like it's not about strutting your stuff on the beach. It's not about any of
Mm-mm.
it's about like being at your best.
Functional movement
Yeah.
and just being able to move and do the things you need to do each day. With little
It's such
kids,
a
that's a lot.
it's such a blessing that so many people take for granted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like one of the things that I have loved lately is how I feel like when I'm up and moving, like I don't ever get winded anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-mm.
things that used to make me winded, like walking a few flights of stairs, or like you said, toting around a bunch of bags or kids or things like that. I'll like sit and think, that's not bothering me at all.
Mm-mm.
I'm breathing normally, my heart rate's down, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this feels so cool. Like
Yep.
I wish everybody knew that feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it makes you want to do it more because you realize, man, how much it's paying off, and you feel good and you look better and just are happier. So many. And I know that's so cliche and that we hear that all the time, but it's true. It's true. It's so worth it. So worth it.
Yep. We talked about when we started, why we started. Do y'all have any goals for maybe, the next few months or even years down the road?
I just signed up for the July 5K, the Fiddlers 5K. I
Yay. Yeah.
signed up for that. And my goal is under 34 minutes.
Which
So
you can
can do it.
absolutely do.
that's
Mhm.
more on that one. Hopefully it's not 90,000 degrees.
It probably will be.
It will be. So just go ahead and start your heat training.
Yeah.
Start drinking those electrolytes now.
Yeah, for sure. And then signed up for the haunted half in October. So
Oh, did you?
You
Yep.
did?
Oh, good.
Yep.
Yay.
That's
How do you
awesome.
feel about it?
pretty good. I mean, pretty good. We'll see as it goes through.
Yeah.
and get some.
I love that race. I cannot wait to
Yeah.
run it again. I cannot wait. It's so fun.
Yeah, I might just be there in support because that's like 3 weeks from my marathon, so I don't know
Mhm.
if that's gonna fit in or not. Because
Yeah.
last time I like went all out during the haunted half, and I mean, it was probably a month and a half before the marathon that I did. This year, I think I might be too close, but I have a coach, so I guess he'll make that judgment call.
Yeah. I don't have any sort of time goal whatsoever. I don't want to be the person that they're picking up the cones behind. Like,
You won't.
You won't be. Yeah.
You won't.
No, I think this year you're really going to surprise yourself, and I think you're going to start moving goals because I think you're very conservative
yeah.
with what you think you can do with when
Yeah.
you set goals. I think you're going to surprise yourself this year.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
It's always nice when you surprise yourself when you
Yeah.
meet your goals.
Jess, what about you?
Well, it's so funny. One day I'm like, I'm going to have a baby this year. The next day I'm like, I'm going to run a marathon this year. And the next day I'm like, I'm just going to run for fun of it. I can't decide. But at this particular moment, I have entertained greatly running the Indy Marathon, like trying that. It's a
Mhm.
flat course, so it's a little less intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm eyeing that. I looked at that the other day and had all my information typed in. I was like, okay, we might do this. We might do this. So that's definitely on the table. I think for kind of just my immediate goal, I just did the half marathon on Saturday, and that was kind of my last half that I have kind of my eye on for a while. I don't particularly want to go run a half marathon in like July or August just because
No, nobody does.
the heat. I just don't want to in Tennessee. I don't. So I'm thinking I'm just going to focus on lifting some heavy weights, which is what I've done this week. Just lift heavy and focus on building muscle and then doing some speed work and some 5Ks. There are several 5Ks, the Fiddler 5K. There's a couple other ones around in Cookeville that I want to do in June and July. So I think that's kind of my target right now is just strength training and speed training and see how fast I can get.
Yeah. Do you have a time goal at all?
I really don't. I mean, if we were going to draw this way out to like big goal, I mean, and this is total, dreamland, but I mean, obviously if you're going to run and you're going to run a marathon, you're looking at your time, a Boston qualifier would be like your ultimate goal. I have no idea. I could probably get there. It might take me several years. I don't know if I have that sort of dedication. But shy of that, I don't really have like a specific.
Watching your run trajectory over the last 6 months to a year, like I don't think it would be as long and
I'm
out
probably
there as you think.
peaking. Right now, I'm peaking.
Please. No, I think the only thing with you would be, I don't know if you would love adding all the miles because you said strength training is your love, running's kind of secondary to that. Running a marathon is a lot more miles than
I think that's probably my biggest hold up at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I even have in my little runner app that I've been using the free version of and kind of skipping by that. I put the Indy Marathon in there just to look at the miles that it would prescribe. And I don't know. It's just it's a big commitment, and that's like the only thing is thinking, man, that's a lot of time, and that means not building as much muscle and lifting as many weights. I'm like trying to figure all that out before I fully commit, but it's so enticing. It's so, I mean, especially when you come off of a race and like you did really well, it's like, oh my word, somebody I need to do another one this weekend. Like, when can I do another one, But man, I don't know. That's, right now I'm just like, okay, 1 week at a time, and we're going to work on strength and speed. And I have not done any speed work this week. I've just done 2 easy runs just to ease, into things and to try to recover a little bit. But next week, and I love speed runs and workouts, and sprints and stuff like that. So we'll work on that next week.
So we're kind of talking a little bit about the race that you just did.
Mhm.
Do you want to tell everybody how it went?
Oh man, it went so well. I've had a couple of days to process it at this point, but man, I don't really know where it came from. I actually, a lady I go to church with today, she is on the board of one of the 15K that I did. She sent me a message today and said something about run the Cumberlands. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's like
Mm.
it's like 10 or 15 races across the Upper Cumberland. And if you run so many of them, I think it's 4, you get a special medal because you've run the Cumberlands. And so she knew that I had done, and her race is a part of it. So she knew that I'd done that, and she knew that I'd done a couple other ones. So I'm going to get a special medal.
Oh, yay.
I don't really know where from, but I had to send in my information today. So I had to send in my like my race times, and I got to looking at like the half marathon from the Haunted Half Marathon. I was like, oh my word, if I had run this pace here, I would have gotten like 6th place, and that's a pretty good size race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was great. The course was not the super flat, but it was pretty flat. I think the elevation gain was about the same as the Haunted Half Marathon. And it's Tennessee. So you're like Middle Tennessee. So you're talking hilly,
Yeah.
not terrible. But I had a game plan of my fueling, and I just ate the perfect amount of carbs, not too many to make myself feel heavy, but enough to feel fueled, and lots of electrolytes and my gels, and just everything went perfectly. I mean, it could not have been more well executed. And I don't know, it was great. It was great.
That's such a nice feeling.
It is.
Tell everybody what your time was for the Haunted Half.
Okay, so my time for the Haunted Half was like 2 hours and 11 minutes. 2 hours, I think it was 2 hours and 11 minutes is what I read today.
Okay.
And that was in
what was your
October.
time? Yep. And what was your time for this? Was it the
Um,
Viola Half?
It was the Viola Valley Half Marathon. Okay, so it was my official time, I believe, was 1:50:35. So
That's
yeah, I know.
But
So my average pace for the Haunted Half, I think, was like 10:02,
Mhm.
and this one was like 8:33 or something like that. It's crazy. But I really watched my heart rate and like RPE, rate of perceived effort or whatever. I just kind of was checking myself and thinking like, okay, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like this is really hard, or can you hold this? And I felt good. I felt like I'm working, I'm pushing myself, but I couldn't do this for 26, but I think I can do this for 13. And I would check my heart rate, and it would be in like, the zone that you want it to be in. It was like 166. So you're pushing, but you're not like dying, you're not at 175 at mile 2, which is not good. So I just kind of did that, and I thought, okay, if I start to feel fatigued, or like I start to really hurt, or feel like I'm going to burn out, then I'm going to just slow down. But it never happened. And then I had enough energy. I basically had negative splits, and then my fastest mile was my last mile, and it was 7:44. So
a drink. Oh my gosh, that's a super fast mile.
yeah. And I still didn't pass that little old lady.
Hey, that little old lady has probably been running for 30, 40 years.
Oh, had to. And I did beat her time only by 3 seconds, but she was really fast. And I tried really hard. I could not catch her.
Well, go old lady. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's the goal.
That's
okay.
Amen.
So we've talked about kind of where we came from running and where we want to go. We have a few things on the calendar that we're going to be kind of watching out for and talking about throughout the year. Jessica, when you decide, you can just let us know if we're going to have a baby or if we're going to run some races.
Yeah. William is probably so tired of me sending him like in the morning. I'm like, oh, this cute little baby thing. And then by like lunch, I'm like, man, I can't wait to can't wait to run my next half marathon. And then by that night, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like calling everybody I know, like, somebody tell me, what should I
Yeah.
do?
And like we're laughing about it. I mean, because it we can bring humor to the situation, but that's something that women have to think about and plan for
Mm-hmm.
and schedule their life and their goals around that men don't really have to do.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Baby's on the
It's
way, they
hard.
just sign up for another marathon. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And it's so, I don't think if I weren't making the progress, it would not be so difficult
hmm
if I were not making the progress that I'm making. And to be like in the thick of this, like I'm loving racing and I kind of feel like I'm just now getting my footing with that. Like running is just now kind of becoming something where I'm able to ease more into like, I don't know, like the technical side of it
hmm
and move past like just that initial trying to run and just get it done. And to feel like, man, I feel like maybe I might be kind of good at this, and
You're not kind of good at it. You're very good at it.
I'm really enjoying it, and to just because I know I've had 2 kids, I know what my body does during pregnancy, and it handles it pretty well. But I get the full like nausea and throwing up, and it's usually like start to finish. The women who say, I'm never nauseated. I'm like, what? I could have 10 kids if it weren't for that. But I know that it will set me back dramatically.
Yeah.
And
I
it's not even
I
hardly really the postpartum part that worries me as much. It is the 10 months of carrying the child
yeah.
that, and I know it's selfish. It's so hard to not see it that way. It's like I'm giving up all of this that I've worked for. You know, I know that's
Yeah.
bad to say,
I
but
don't
that's
think
like
it's
the
self
battle that goes on in my mind
I don't think that's
literally
a
all
selfish
day
thing to
long.
say at all. Um, but I also think that if that's what you decided, you would come back and will be, you know, it wouldn't be just like you're jumping right back where you are now, but I don't think it would take you as long as you're thinking in your mind. I
Yeah.
think you're far enough along, and as long as, you were able as far as the sickness and all that goes, you would continue training throughout. And so you're
I
not
would
going back
hope.
to ground zero if you decided to do that. You would be
Yeah.
fine.
And that is, I tell myself that too, like the base that I have built now, like it has fitness and movement has become, whereas before when I had kids, it was like once in a blue moon, or like I would have to force myself to exercise. And it was like 20 minutes and I was miserable most of the time, and now it is like, aside from, you know, special moments with my kids, like my exercise, whether it's a run or a lift, that's like the best part of my day. And I feel like I can't imagine I would give that up. I feel like even if I were nauseated, I would find a way to get my workout
Yeah.
in, whatever that might look like.
Mhm.
That's what I tell
Yep.
myself. But I'm also not pregnant right now. So.
Yeah, it's easy to think about it when it's kind of like one of those things, like if you could remember exactly what it was like to be pregnant and give birth, you probably wouldn't do it again. So,
I was listening to a podcast today when I was running, or yesterday actually when I was walking, and that's what I'm like looking on scouring Spotify for pregnant running mothers, anything where I can listen, to any women give advice on, and a lot of these women, they're like running until they're 36, 37, 2 days before they give birth. I'm like,
mhm.
maybe that could be me.
I
I'll
mean,
be running a mile, but
you hear so many stories about like elite athletes coming back after multiple pregnancies, uh,
mhm,
and having these great successful careers, and not even, you know, elite, because we're obviously nowhere near elite athletes,
mhm,
but everyday runners do it all the time.
yep,
And I think you're somebody that has a lot of, I mean, the work ethic that's there, and you have the natural ability as well. So if you decided, I think you would be perfectly fine.
mhm. Well, thank you.
And that BQ would still be on the table for you.
Oh man, I don't know. That'd be really
It just
something.
might push it out a couple of years.
Yeah. And I tell myself, imagine if you did it and you achieved that and you had a third child. Like imagine crossing that finish line.
Hey,
That would be
women are
worth
we're
$1 million.
superheroes. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. Okay, so I think that's what where we're going to wrap it up today. Before we close it off, I do want to talk or kind of go into something you are listening to or reading right now. It doesn't have to pertain to running, or something that you like to listen to while you run.
I feel like I'm all over the map. Like, especially if you were to listen to like what I listen to when I'm running.
Mhm.
I mean, it is all over the place. Like 90s country to 2000s rap to like church songs to ABBA. Like, I mean, it is all over the place. So, like, there's definitely not one particular set of music genres that I listen to while I can listen to like some easy read audiobooks, but I can't really get into like a like heavy listening book running.
So when you say like heavy listening, what does that mean?
Like I couldn't listen to like Iron Flame or something like that, or something like that, like where you're like having names and all these different things to keep up with. No, but something like a Nora Roberts, I can definitely listen to running. But that's book wise. Other than that, it's usually just music.
What about you, Jess?
It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling and what the run entails. I have
Definitely.
learned that it's not a good if you're trying to run slowly, you don't need to listen to like the most banging playlist
No,
that you listen to on race day. Like that is not a good combination. So I have some random things, but I mean I do love like a good hype song. So I have found a collection of like over the course of the last year. The Score, I don't know if you've ever heard of The Score. And so a lot of these I don't even really know. I just know them because Spotify recommends them to me. Breaking Benjamin's always going to be on there for me for something good to listen to when I run. And then sometimes
workout playlist is Breaking Benjamin.
Yes, so good, so good.
Right.
Especially for like a race. But I love to listen to podcasts. Of course, a lot of times it's like health and fitness, running related. Like I said, I've been like looking for anything lately that has to do with mothers like who run, or women who are pregnant and who run, or women who have been pregnant and who run.
I'm sensing a
anything
theme
like
here.
that. Yeah, that's like literally what I'm looking for right now. So if you come across any good ones, send them to me. Any sort of inspiration about, like you can do it and you can, all the things, like I'm needing to hear that in case I take that leap. But usually I've been in a music kick lately, but I have been listening, and I can't believe I would even ask Spotify to make me a playlist like this, but Luke Combs Radio. I don't know what it is about that. It's such a good, there's like some Chris Stapleton in there and just there's some 90s country songs in there. And it's really chill. So if you're just like out enjoying your run and you're not like trying to, run intervals or something, it's really good to listen to.
I'm trying to think of what it would be like to run to country. I've never tried it.
Yeah, it's a new thing for me. It's a new thing.
I could run to some country.
Oh, not me. I mean, my taste is very eclectic. I have ABBA. I mean, ABBA's number one. I'll listen to ABBA all day, every day.
I can listen.
Yes. But I mean, I have like the Greatest Showman playlist. There's even a couple Disney songs on there. There are rap songs that, I mean, it's just like across the board, like all over the place. But I might listen to music like one time a week.
Really?
The rest of the time, yeah, no, I really, podcasts are like my jam. And I have like a rotation of podcasts that like every time I get an update that they've like come out with a new one, I'm like, yes, can't wait to get on my run.
Yeah.
And so makes it so much more fun when you've got something like that you want to listen to.
Yeah. And that's like, I made my last video talking about like how, ways to try to enjoy running a little bit more for those that don't really appreciate it like we do. And that was one of my tips, was to, find something you do like to listen to, whether it be like true crime or podcasts or books or your music that you don't get to listen to in the car, because let's be honest, most of us are listening to Moana and things like that all day long.
Danny Go.
Danny Go. Blippi.
Car, and Travis was trying to listen to some new Eric Church songs, and like he was wanting to listen to him so bad, and Lucy was going, Danny Go, like, screaming it from the back, and he was like, oh God.
Oh yeah, I don't even go there anymore. That's I don't even try.
So we don't get to listen to what we want to anyway. So that's it. Like you said, it's nice to have something to look forward to. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So this has been super fun. So this is something that we are going to try to do once, maybe twice a month. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you next time.
Bye. You can cut that out.
No, I'm definitely leaving it.
Bruce.
Oh, all this is still in here. Thanks for joining us on Bree Rice Runs. Happy running, everyone, and we'll see you next week.